up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something fun. We're going to fly a 2.5 inch Cinewhoop from Eachine. This is the Cvatar 120. It is 4S and 6S available. I have the one with TBS Crossfire on there. This is actually a Crossfire Nano, and I'm going to fly it on the Tango 2 today. We're going to do some fun analog video on here. We have the RunCam Nano 2 on here. No DJI digital on this one, but it's making it a little bit cheaper for you. This one comes in around $139 for the 4S version, which I have. It has the 5,000 kV motors, or you can get a 6S version for I think like $6 more. So this one's on sale right now for the New Year's sale. So you can check that link out in the description below and grab the 4 or 6S version. I'd recommend the 6S version of this one. Just a little lower kV motors, and I think it will perform great on 6S, and it'll do a little better carrying a GoPro. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do a flight test, and we'll come back in and we will check out the 2.5 inch version of the Cvatar. Also a 3 inch version as well. So that one did really good on the channel late last year. So I'm excited to fly this one for you guys. Let's go out and do some field testing with it. We'll come back in and we'll talk about the specs and my overall opinion of this one, as you guys always want to know. Here we go. Alright guys, welcome back from the flight test. So what do you think about this little guy? This has some interesting design features going on here. We're going to talk about what they've done differently on here. First of all, it is a Cinewhoop. It's not something for freestyle. I found right away with the flight performance of this one that it does not flip and roll and power loop and all that stuff like some of the larger 3-inch ones do. Like the 3-inch version of this one actually will freestyle, and it's awesome. I'll put the link down below for that one too. If you want to freestyle and you want a cinema, get the 3-inch version. If you want just a little cruiser and something you can kind of fly around in a smaller place, this one is a lot of fun. If you want to fly a little further with the Crossfire Nano like I have here, definitely get the 6S version, because for $6 more you're just going to get better performance and you're going to get hopefully a little longer flight time. So flight times on this one with a GoPro on there and my Insta360, I was getting around 3 minutes on a 4S 850. So you have two choices of strap in the box. You get a smaller one for smaller batteries like a 650 or an 850, and then this strap will actually accommodate something like a 1300. So I would almost run like a 4S 1300 on this baby, because the motors on here, they are 1404 5000 kV, and they do suck a lot of amps down. So being that it is running a smaller prop, higher RPM, and quite a bit of amp draw to the battery. So you want to fly your newer batteries on this quad if you're flying a smaller battery. And again, if you're carrying GoPro, 3 minutes. If you're not, probably 4.5 minutes to 5 minutes if you're cruising. So if you want to get a longer flight time, put maybe I also have 1000 milliamp batteries that I fly on there. 4S 1000s are great. But again, I would recommend the 6S version to get 6 and 7 minute flight times, most likely out of an 850 or a 1300, maybe even pushing you up to 8 minutes. This one is actually noisier than the 3-inch version, which is interesting. This little baby right here is a screamer. Like this thing is loud, and everyone at the park I was at was absolutely aware of this thing flying. So you can hear this thing like a football field away. It is pretty loud, one of the louder ones. Now, one thing that is really great about this Cvatar 120 is the fact that we've got 25 amp 4-in-1 ESCs on here. It is running also an F722 flight controller, so a very nice flight controller is on this one. We also have a VTX on here that's just above that all-in-one flight controller. That is a 400 milliwatt VTX, so it's running plenty of power to get you way out there if you're going to use the Crossfire version. My Tango 2 works great this year. I would recommend that if you guys are going to go Crossfire. It just makes everything super simple. The other thing they did that was interesting about this design is that this top plate can come off. It has quite a few bolts here. It is like a 3-stage top plate. You've got a piece in the front, piece in the middle, and piece here. But being that it is a 3-stage top plate, if you needed to take all of this off, you're taking all these bolts off. But if you wanted to get just to the flight controller, just 4 bolts there. So middle plate release, and you get to your flight controller. If you're trying to solder up a receiver or add something else on there, that makes it kind of easy. And you also notice that, hey, there's no carbon arms going out to holding the motors. The motors are actually suspended from these what look like ABS injection molded prop guards here, and they have holes all the way through in the front. In the back, it gives it a little, I think that's trying to help it perform better, but the tune could be a little better on this quad, and it would probably reduce some of the tumble and wobble. But a lot of my wobble happened on the extreme end of a power loop. So unless you're doing anything super crazy or you're carrying a really heavy camera, like the Insta360 ONE-R here is one of my favorite cameras of all time. Even more versatile than a GoPro because you've got dual lenses on here, but this baby is super heavy and almost too big for the 2.5-inch quad here. So my recommendation for cinema on this one's going to be the SMO camera, like the SMO 4K camera from Beta FPV and Insta360 or the Insta360 Go, and they make a mount for that one actually. And you know what's interesting about this one, guys, is the diatone mount also fits on here because they cut this frame far enough back to be able to get this baby on there and underneath. So if you wanted to buy one of these diatone mounts, this will actually fit on here. I tried it, so that will work for you guys. The bolts will go through and they actually line up exactly, pretty close with the front holes. So 2 screws on this one versus 4 screws on this one, and it really doesn't make any difference which one you use because it comes with this one. But if you're looking to put different types of cameras on, this little flat mount is kind of fun because you can put some VHB here and then you can do, you know, a zip tie around it or a strap or whatever. Probably not the safest thing in the world, but it's pretty versatile as far as having a lot of options. But the power system on here is, again, pretty demanding, so I would definitely recommend you guys go with the 6S version. The 6S version, like I said, it's only like $6 more, and just double check on the ESCs on here. The 6S version looks like it's also running the F722 and 25 amp ESCs still, so that one comes PNP, by the way, without the receiver, so $145 for the 6S version. But the 4S version is a pretty good deal too. If you already have 4S batteries, then don't worry about it. Now the props on here, you could probably get a little more efficiency and maybe less wobble out of it if you went to, say, a quad blade prop or even a tri-blade. I don't know that I've really flown that many tri-blades on Cinewhoops, but the props on here are the Gemfan D63s, and they've also, HQ also makes some that are probably a little more efficient than these. These are just a little bit aggressive, quite a bit of pitch, and quite a wide cord right here. So that's one thing to consider here. And on the bottom as well, we have no arms on the bottom, and this is a solid plate all the way through. So no center plate release there. But you really don't need it there. You need it on top. But it's interesting to me that these motors, and on the website, if you look at the website, they actually show a picture of the motor mounted straight to the plastic ABS. So look at this right here. You see this? There's no carbon plate there, but on the one they sent me, they've upgraded it and put a carbon plate there. So I think that's really smart to do that. If you're going to have a motor suspended from the actual duct, you need a little bit of reinforcement there. So that was a really good idea. Now in the back also, we've got our XT30 there. So if you're ordering batteries, you got to order XT30 style battery. I usually fly XT60 sometimes on the larger batteries. So what I do is I convert it back down, and I lost the antenna on the back of mine. I lost the hammer antenna, so that's kind of a bummer. But I've got plenty of those right-hand circular polarized antennas. And it's nice they have this little TPU mount in the back already set up for your Immortal T. And they have a nice little slot back here for receiver, so you can just kind of push your receiver in there. And these two antennas posts coming off the back are for XM Plus or any type of diversity receiver. So they got all the standard features and stuff back here that you would expect. But overall, I think for the price, this one's fun. If you don't mind something being like kind of aggressively loud, this little thing is fun. It's actually pretty fast, and it's so much funner to fly without my Insta360 ONE-R on there. This almost seemed too big for it. So definitely run the naked GoPro on there. If you're gonna invest in like something like this, grab the naked GoPro. For 2021, I think most of you guys should be absolutely looking to get the SMO camera. That should be the go-to camera this year. But let's go ahead and drop this quad on the scale. Let me get some weigh-in for you guys. There she is on the scale, and looks like she's weighing in right around 174.9 grams, so well under 250 grams. And especially with all this remote ID stuff coming up, this will be great because it's under the 250G limit for the remote ID thing that's coming out. So with a camera on there, it's probably going to put you over 250. So that's one thing to consider. And I don't know if they're making a DJI version of this one coming up, but the analog sure is cheap at $139. So a 4S 650 will still keep you under 250. So we're at 234.7 right there. So you might be able to shave a little weight off by taking this off and maybe running an Insta360 Go on this one. But if you want to stick it, under 250 grams, there's a lot of options out there that you can fly right now with these naked GoPros. And that's what the SMO 4K is. Basically, it's like a decased GoPro for guys that don't know what that is. But you have a lot of options with this quad. You get an extra part there for shoving through here and mounting your any GoPro style mounts. Even this one fits on there perfect. You get an extra ABS molded prop guard, and I really don't see you guys breaking this. This is really, really good plastic. Whatever this is insanely durable. You'd have to really slam it to break that. We also have that extra smaller strap, some hardware, those extra bolts for the props that go on the bottom, and they are inverted motor design, which is kind of cool. And these are the Gym Fan 63mm props, 2.5. So you get a user manual in here, which is also kind of cool, and you get a ton of stickers. So if you have a toolbox, I usually put my stickers on my toolbox or my laptop. But everything on here, all the hardware is also 2mm. So you can use a 2mm driver there. And so I think you have a lot of options with this one, and it's a pretty decent price. So $139.99 is not bad. But again, go on the website and get the 6S version, guys, and it will be a beast on 2.5 inch. So that's my recommendation for the Cvatar 120, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this review, and I brought you a little bit of extra knowledge about this release. So thanks again for watching my channel, guys. Please do subscribe, because guess what, we have all kinds of new stuff coming out all the time on the channel, new prototypes and all kinds of fun stuff right here, and hopefully you guys are learning something on my channel as well. I try to people speak to you guys so you understand things, especially for the new guys, and keeping it fun for the intermediate flyers as well. But take care, guys. Happy New Year, and I'll see you on the next one.